Welcome to the Empower Moments Morning Show, where we create intentional mindset shifts, empower women to embrace their potential, and open their hearts to their deepest desires. Join Margot, the beauty guru, your self-love and business strategist, and Dr. Alicia A. Williams, your transformation and empowerment coach. These dynamic women are here to guide you, inspire you, and uplift you. Together, they'll help you unleash your potential and own your journey. It's time to step into your greatness. Let's get started.
So today's episode is about anxiety over expressing vulnerability due to potential for rejection or invalidation. Ladies, have you ever hesitated to open up or share your true feelings because you were afraid of being rejected or dismissed?
Absolutely.
Oh, girl.
Absolutely. Vulnerability is something that we definitely need to talk about because I feel like all of us in some space have dealt with either struggling to be vulnerable or experience being vulnerable and not received well. And so, listen, we're getting ready to get into it, so it's going to be great.
Get into it.
And personally, I can say I struggled, Dr. Alicia, with vulnerability. Like, it was like I was on the struggle bus for a very long time. And I think a lot of it happens with me from losing my mom at such a young age, right? So losing a parent, I lost my mom, I was 10 years old.
Okay.
So when you lose your mom at that age, you lose your protection.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And so losing my mom and losing that person who would protect me, it made me form very strong boundaries for myself because I did not want to get lost in the sauce. I did not. But doing that came the wall, the protection.
Wow.
You can't read me and I'm not letting you in because you will hurt me. You know, you won't love me how my mom would love me. So I'm going to have these boundaries up. I'm going to have these barriers up. And guess what? I'm not going to show no emotions and I'm not going to give them to you. So this is going to be great because we're going to talk about all the things about vulnerability.
So the opposite. We're the opposite. So I am known to, I'm known to be a crybaby. Let's just call it what it is. However, I've been perceived to be a crybaby, not in the terms that many would think about. When I get really caught up in my feelings,
right,
and it really touches my heart, or there's a story that resonates with me, I immediately begin to tear up.
Right.
I immediately begin to tear up, or if I'm passionate about something.
Right.
I show, it shows through my emotions. Like, I can't hide it.
Right.
You're going to hear my voice start cracking. You're going to see that I'm just what you call truly a crybaby, but in a good sense.
Okay, that's good. So you've learned the technique early on how to release, how to show your emotions, how to just put it out there, plain and simple.
But here's the thing, Joe.
Let's talk about it.
Because I cry so easily, I think that may be that's the Aries in me. Okay, like we're feisty, but we're emotional beings too at the same time.
Right.
However, I thought many would confuse me crying as if, she's looking for attention.
Oh, I could see that. I could see that.
Oh, here we go again. She's crying again, not understanding that that is how I release my feelings.
Got it.
Now, that could be whether it's something good, I get emotional about a happy time, or if I'm angry.
Okay.
If someone upsets me, I begin to cry because either my feelings are hurt or you're not.
I'm upset.
I'm upset. No other way to put it. So that me being a crybaby can go a couple different directions. So sometimes it will come off as me being weak because she's crying. Here she goes again. She's crying again.
Got it.
When that was the complete opposite.
Correct. Correct. I love you sharing that because it gives a different perspective on when you talk about being vulnerable. It shows you that it's okay to be vulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
But there are some things that may come with being vulnerable, and you have to learn to be okay with that. And so for me, I struggled so much. So becoming a mother, I was a teen mom, so I had my first son. I was pregnant at the age of 16. So, of course, my flight was just different. I was focused on being a parent. I was responsible for another individual. So during this time, I never got the opportunity to work on the vulnerability until my current marriage.
Wow.
So that was a long time.
Okay.
Navigating life, trying to figure things out, and still not tapping into your vulnerability.
Gotcha.
Because what I realized today, being vulnerable is so important in relationships.
It is.
It's almost like for me, you can't be close with me if you're not vulnerable and transparent.
Yeah.
I just don't do well with the.
Right.
I don't do well.
I'm not gonna vibe with you
if I
don't
tap
feel.
in.
Come on.
If I can't tap in, if we can't have a real conversation, then it's just going to be a no for me.
Yeah, because I feel like you're not being your true, authentic self.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do with this, because the conversations we're having is not real.
Right.
You know, you can't be like transparent in conversations or transparent in a relationship. You know, you're not being your authentic self. You're just not being it. And so you have to be vulnerable. And I'm telling you, when I say it was a struggle, it was a struggle. Even though there were times that I tried to talk myself into being vulnerable, I just struggled. I struggled. And so it positioned me to where, like, in my marriage, what made me start being vulnerable. Now, let me just back it up a little bit.
Okay.
I'm a mother, so my kids, baby, like, they everything. You know, that's how I go. Let me just go on and say that.
Okay.
So when it came to my children, I was that caregiver. I was, you know, open and vulnerable with them because those were my babies.
Right.
But when it came to anybody else on the outside, baby, we was
walls
boarded
were
up like Fort Knox, honey, okay? Boarded up like, baby, can't get in where your pants, not today, because you ain't on the list.
Access denied.
Access denied, okay? So listen, it was just so crazy, but being in my current marriage, it taught me a lot. And this was the first time that I was with he became my best friend, right? And so my husband, he's very open. Now, he came in vulnerable, kicked in the door vulnerable, honey. You feel me? Kicked in the door, emotional, vulnerable, all the things. But I just sat with myself a lot of the times and thought things, right? I thought that, man, I'm so in love, but I wouldn't verbally say it. Or I would look and be like, man, like, I'm loving my life, but would never just open up to acknowledge it because in my past experiences, you could be up today and down tomorrow. Because that's what you have to tell yourself to keep those walls up. So listen, ladies, being vulnerable is vital, essential.
It's a strength.
Yes.
Embrace it. Embrace it. Because
Yes.
it allows you to truly be your authentic self.
Yes.
I don't apologize for it. Even there are times where I would be in the middle of a conversation, I would be telling myself, don't cry, don't cry.
Right.
Because I didn't want them to perceive, oh, here she go again.
Right.
I mean, like, literally, that's what I would hear. I wouldn't physically hear them say that, but I can tell, like, watching their eyes, because remember, I had that gift of watching and observing people's behavior when I'm talking. I felt like, oh, here she go. Here it comes.
And I hate that for you, Dr. Alicia, because at the end of the day, I mean, what are the safe spaces?
Right. And there were times I didn't feel safe where there have been, you know, in conversations with, you know, it could be business and but let me tell you when I felt empowered.
Okay, let's hear that part.
So
Ladies,
let's
lean in, ladies. Lean in, ladies.
Tap in, okay? Make sure your cup is full. Okay?
Yes.
I felt empowered when there was a speaking engagement that I did, and as again, tapping into my gift, I was able to resonate with the audience. I saw the emotions over the audience face as I was talking and said, okay, it's okay to let it out. It's okay because they was like, no, you don't worry about the tissue. Let your feelings out. And from that point moving forward, I stopped holding back my tears because I empowered them to let them know it was okay to show your emotions. It's okay to feel the way that you feel. It is okay, ladies. That is a complete sentence. It is okay.
Yeah. I think that's great that you shared that point because I think that's the thing that a lot of people who struggle in vulnerability, they're afraid of the reactions. They're afraid of the rejection. They're afraid of someone saying, like you said earlier, oh, here she go again. You know, I don't want nobody to say that about me. And let's be honest, it's hurtful. It's hurtful.
You took the words out of my mouth.
It's hurtful when you are being expressive and someone or people may not receive you or open their minds and hearts to sit in that moment with you.
And they shoot your feelings down and you feel like, you know, what you have to say or how you feeling doesn't matter.
Yeah, and I hate that happens because some people don't have the bandwidth to push through. You know, if they get in that spot and they feeling like, well, let me try it, and then they get rejected or someone's like, oh, girl, there she go, it'll shut you down.
It will shut them down, and then they will become a non-communicator.
Correct. And be quiet, like I used to be, and look at you. And don't say anything, and have these feelings, but don't acknowledge it.
Right, and then that leads to individuals suffering in silence.
That's true.
So if they don't feel comfortable to be themselves, they pull back.
Correct.
They isolate themselves.
Absolutely.
They begin to lie. They'll say that they
Right.
actually feel one way and actually do not. But
That's
it goes
true.
back to them not being allowed to truly show their vulnerability.
But being vulnerable, I'm grateful that I had the opportunity to find that sweet spot and find that space and work through. And listen, ladies, it wasn't easy. Like, I had to do a lot of talking to myself. I had to go to therapy. I had to do counseling. I had to talk with my husband. He had to open certain spaces for me to feel safe. Because ultimately, vulnerability comes with the ability of feeling safe in the space.
Oh, yeah, most
So
definitely.
then, when you're feeling safe, then you'll be more open. And so what I realized is the true transparency of vulnerability helps grow real, authentic relationships.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. And that goes back to what you said earlier. Who are these people that you're around where you don't feel comfortable
Correct.
to be yourself?
Correct.
Like, it ties into so many of our previous episodes about, do you see how I feel like we're coming full circle?
Oh, we have
here?
to. We got to bring it back.
Got to bring it back. All of this reminds me of, are you truly tapped into the right circles?
That's true.
Or do you have the right dots, as
That's
we talked
right.
about earlier?
That's right.
Where you feel comfortable sharing some of your most vulnerable moments or things that may be happening with you personally, but you feel as if I tell them this and I get emotional,
Right.
I'm going to be rejected.
Right. And that's just a real thing. But you know what? So this is the thing where I struggle with. And if any of you ladies are dealing with this, listen, there's hope. You just got to process it the right way. So what I did was, in my vulnerability, when I was trying to figure it out, because I knew I needed it for where I was trying to go. So I was like, I can't go like this.
Right.
There's some things I need to fix. There's some things I need to clean up. So when I was able to do that, the first part that happens is, certain behaviors, and especially if you've had them for a long time, are hard to break.
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
So I struggled with feeling like, well, I was telling my husband, well, you got to open this up for me. You got to give me this to make me give you this, right? So I started making excuses. I didn't want to work through it totally on my own. I didn't want to dig in my bag and realize, why are you like this? What happened to you?
Right.
And feel those emotions. I didn't want to do it.
Didn't want to address
So what I did was I put it on him to do this, and then I feel comfortable enough to do this.
Right.
But it don't work that way.
No.
When you're processing being vulnerable or any behavior changes that you've had for a long time, ladies, you have to be willing to look inward.
Oh, come on.
You have to look inward. And that's what I had to do.
I just said, take that finger.
Yes.
Get that mirror, take that finger and turn
Yes.
around and say, this is what I need to do for me.
Right. And I had to be honest with my husband and say, listen, I've been asking you to do certain things to make me feel vulnerable, and I was wrong for that.
Yeah.
Because it's steps that I need to take.
Yeah.
And so this is why I haven't been vulnerable. I was open. I talked it through. I talked about
Right.
it. And it positioned him to feel like, you know what? I'm going to support you in this space because I know you're struggling in this space.
Exactly.
And so I said all that to say, listen, if you're struggling with vulnerability, ladies, look around at your support.
What does your support system look like?
Absolutely. Support.
Be okay with being vulnerable, because I've learned in this, everybody has their guard up.
Absolutely. And that's from past experiences.
Right. Or it could be a generational curse, too.
Let's talk about that.
That could be a whole
true.
generational curse. No, as women, and let's talk about, we had a man to talk about, because men put up an exterior
Right.
of, I can't show my vulnerability because I'm going to be seen as weak.
Correct.
But you also have women who have been raised, depending on how they've been raised, they may come off as if an alpha female.
That's true.
That's a whole.
Well, we could talk about that because that's
Okay.
good. I'm going to tell you why, because I consider myself to be an alpha female.
I do.
Today.
But and there's in a different
But,
retrospect.
right. But being an alpha female, and I had this conversation on another platform, it comes with a lot of things, right? However, when I pull up and get in that garage, baby, I'm Margot the wife. I'm
say that
Margot
again.
the mom.
Memphis.
I don't walk in making decisions and telling my husband what he gonna do, what he not gonna do. I don't do that.
Right.
One thing about me, and let's be clear, because this is something that people shy away from, and they feel like, oh, alpha female. Alpha. It's nothing wrong with being an alpha anything. It's nothing wrong with being whatever you choose to be in your life. However, you got to know who you are. And I know that's me.
Right.
I make decisions all day.
Right.
I sit with teams all day. I make decisions. I delegate all day long. When I get home, I don't have time for that. I don't want it.
Listen, I don't want to wear the pants when I get home.
I don't. I do not.
Trust.
I do not.
Trust.
So the thing is, there's definitely a balance to being an alpha female and the wife and the mom.
Exactly.
You have to be able to balance that.
Exactly.
And I deal with a lot of clients with that because that is hard. It's hard to balance. You get the alpha female who's very heavy on business, heavy on decision making, and you bring it right home to your man.
But it's unintentional. It's not done intentionally. That's why it takes you understanding, wait a minute, let me pull back a little bit.
Correct.
Because this is not what I'm intentionally doing.
Right.
Especially when you have that conversation with your spouse. Wait a minute, pump the brakes.
I agree.
Pump the brakes, but you have to recognize that behavior too as well when it does happen.
So
when you can recognize and say, wait a minute, I know this is what I do on a day-to-day basis, but when I roll up, as you say, when I pull up in that garage, I am Mrs. Margot Taylor.
Absolutely.
I am Mrs. Alicia Williams. Let's be clear.
Yes. You have to be able to cope with in spaces. But for me, I don't want to make decisions all day. I be tired. By the time I get home, I'm exhausted. So I need you to hug on me. I need you to love me, kiss me on the forehead, ask me what we eating for dinner, and let me just sit in this space.
Exactly.
So I definitely, going back to the vulnerability piece, it is so needed. Yeah. It is so needed. And when I made the conscious decision to push past my fears, because that's what it was, guys. I had boundaries up, but it was that little girl that was afraid to really push past and say, you know what? Somebody do love me. Somebody will take care of me. Somebody will protect me with their life.
Right.
I'm in a safe space. Yeah. My whole life, my whole marriage changed at that point. So what I want to encourage our listeners to know is being vulnerable comes with amazing benefits. It comes with growth. Yeah. It comes with you learning more about yourself, and it also helps the people around you learn and understand you more when you can tap into that space.
And it just helps you to embrace and walk confidently in your truth.
Absolutely.
When you can be vulnerable.
Yeah, I agree. I agree so much with that. And so when it comes to a place, like say for instance in your situation where you were saying, I know people may look at me and I'm vulnerable, because I commend you with just being vulnerable and saying, hey guys, look, this is who I am.
This is who I am.
This is who I am. I may cry sometimes, I may not, so on and so forth. What have you done in this space to safeguard you being vulnerable and being open? Because you have to have some type of discernment or some type of thing that you do when you see certain things or you feel, or is it certain signs that come up where you be like, you know what, this may not be the time or space for me. Oh, yeah. I'll hold it in.
But it's all in the environment that I'm in.
Understood.
And it's a discernment from God to be like, okay, I am safe in this space.
Got it.
Okay. Honestly and truthfully, that is where it's going to come from. There has to be a vibe to where I feel as if, okay, I'm comfortable in this space. And if you're not comfortable, you're going to continue to put that wall up and say, no. But then there are situations, there are people, and there are spaces that allow me to share because I feel it, number one. It's going to be in the response that I'm getting back from them. They're looking for their vulnerability because they're so accustomed to fake.
Right, that's true. And you know what?
It's
so funny you say that, because guess what? Even in the time that I wasn't super vulnerable, I wouldn't deal with fake, and I still don't. Like if you're fake, I pick it up immediately. And then I'm like, no, this not gonna work for me, because yes, I wasn't vulnerable, but I was so giving of myself, if that makes sense. So you didn't get the whole emotional piece, but you got the friend, I'm here for you. What can I do? Let's pray. But when it came to me showing my emotions, I struggled.
I'm complete opposite. I was able to give it to you all, and sometimes I thought I did a little bit too much.
Right.
Like I was an individual who was so vulnerable to where it would overtake me. My emotions would overtake me because I wanted them to understand where I was coming from.
I totally understand that. And for me, like learning, like getting into that space with vulnerability, it came with healing. It came with self-discovery. It came with me knowing who I was. Not until me being in that space, I learned to stand in my power. And really just own whatever situation I'm dealing with. So now I can sit and tell my girlfriend, listen, I don't like the way you made me feel. You hurt my feelings. Come on. That was hard. For me to tell somebody it hurt my feelings, girl, I'll probably eat an onion. And I don't even like onions. I would eat a whole onion, baby, at the grocery store, bristle with some water, just bite into it. Like, I just would never be that open.
But I am that girlfriend that's going to tell you immediately, where I was also told before, no, your timing is off. No, because I feel like if I wait, it's really going to be worse. So let me go ahead and let you know, I did not like what you did. I did not like how you made me feel, so that it wouldn't create any friction, not just in friendship. This could be in business. Because I believe you have to. I just truly believe you get the correction. Let me make the correction now.
Yes.
Let's talk about it right now.
And people could respect that.
Yes.
People could respect the correction. People can say, you know what, I did do this, but let me go ahead and pull it in. This is what I meant to do. And that's part of being transparent.
Right, exactly.
That's part of being transparent.
No other way. And let me tell you something, ladies, in 2025, we got to show up and be our authentic self, but we also have to understand what true transparency looks like.
Yes.
Unmask it.
Yes, take the mask
Baby,
off.
when I say unmask, I need y'all, some days I need you to take off the lashes.
Listen.
I need you to take off this whole face that we put on, because honestly and truthfully, we have a face that we all wear.
Oh, absolutely.
But many spaces, many different places, you name it, but in this season, as we move into this new year, because we're in the new year now.
Yes.
So this is the year that you are going to unmask.
Yes.
Unmask it all. Show up as your true, authentic self, and I will assure you, you will truly begin to walk in your greatness.
And the thing is, create steps. If you know this is something that you're struggling with, create steps, ladies, to say, hey, listen, I want to be vulnerable. I want to be my authentic self. I want to be transparent and not transactional in this season. Start 2025 out right. Start it out right. Because when you do that, like I mentioned earlier, it's growth that comes with that. It's healing that comes with that. It's elevation that comes with being who you are supposed to be, okay? So like me and Dr. Alicia was saying, listen, if you in a space and you feel like, you know, you want to be open, you want to be vulnerable, look around the room and see who you're sitting with. That safe space is important. It's important who you hang around, because let's be honest, everybody is not worthy.
Nope. Of your time,
space, reactions, or vulnerability. So you have to be able to decide that, okay? So if you're still navigating this journey, Dr. Alicia and I are here to support you. So schedule your coaching consultation with us at empowerhermoments.com and become a part of our Empower Her Moments community. Listen, ladies, we are here for you all. We have an amazing community of ladies who are there to encourage each other, uplift, and inspire, okay? So thank you so much for joining us on Empower Her Moments Morning Show. This episode is powered by Brian Williams. He is a commercial and residential realtor with Prestige Real Estate Group, okay? And so you can reach him at Brian Williams at prestigerealestategroup.com, okay? And follow him on platforms with Brian_Realtor ATL, okay? And so until next time, keep shining, ladies. Stay empowered and know that you are capable of some amazing things in this new year. And see you all next time.
Have a great one. Thanks for joining us.
Have a great one. Thank you.